everybody. Welcome back to the Bitch and Brainstorm podcast. This is a special edition for our Elevate Your Coaching Business Summit happening on January 17th, 2024. I have one of our panelists here, so I'm so excited to talk to because we have something in common. We both have friends. And so
Yes.
She's from India, so it's like super late at night right there right now. So I'm like, oh my gosh, but she's a night owl, so it's all going to work out beautifully. So Madhurima, I said that wrong. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Tell everybody who you are. Pronounce your name correctly for us so that we can all, I'm so sorry. I'm terrible with name pronunciations.
It's okay. It's okay. Few people have to repeat it, but it makes me feel good because it makes me feel like a goddess. So it's like super important. You have to practice it a few times before you get it right. So completely all right.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I am Madhurima. I am a global stress management facilitator who loves to support multi-passionate, ambitious dreamers manage their stress and prevent burnout so that they can do all the things that they want to do without their own selves holding them back. I am also on a mission to make stress management fun because a lot of people think of it as the soul sucking and annoying thing that is going to drain time and energy from their personal and professional lives. But that only ever happens if you're burnt out. You have to give your body the time to recover. But burnout is essentially improper stress management over a long duration of time. So if you manage your stress regularly and properly, you do not burn out. And whoever said burnout had and stress had to be annoying, stress management had to be annoying. That's what I'm all about. Let's make it fun. Let's make it snappy. Let's make it exciting. That's what I'm all about. So yes.
Okay. So what do you think is the main cause of stress and burnout in business owners?
Ooh, that's a big question. So I think here's the thing. I think stress, we kind of established that burnout is nothing but improper stress management over a long duration of time. So I'll talk about the stress specifically. I think stress is very unique to every individual. What could potentially stress me out could be your zone of genius and vice versa. Like 3 years ago, when I first started out my business administration used to freak me out. Sales, and I was like, I'm good at coaching, let me just coach people. What do you mean I have to do all these other things in the business realm? And now, on the opposite side of the spectrum, you were available helping people support, get started with their business setup, their coaching business, and elevate it. I would have killed for someone like you, quite literally. Not literally, but that's not that's a huge stressor for me, and it's not a stressor for you. So I feel like a lot of people, while they start their business from a space of tapping into their genius, there are all these other things that potentially stress them out. There is sales, there's marketing, there's PR, there's all these multiple levels and layers within running a business. And I think for anyone who's looking for my response to this particular question, my advice would be take a peek within and see what is actually stressing you out. It's very unique for every individual. I like to call it the cocktail of triggers, like specific things that all come together to create the perfect cocktail that gets you drunk and gets you tipsy. When you're tipsy, you're stressed out. When you're drunk, you're burnt out. Figure out what's in your cocktail of triggers. What are the things that are making you go, I have no idea what's happening.
Yes. For me, that was doing my taxes. Like, oh, please don't make me, right? So I delegated that, right? I hired somebody. I am happy to pay somebody who loves to do taxes. Why am I stressing myself out over things that is not my zone of genius? I don't want to have to keep up with all of the laws that I need to pay attention to because I'm an LLC, like, no, like just no. So that to me was like, if I have to do this one more time, I'm going to throw myself on the floor and have a tantrum like a toddler. Please don't make me do that anymore. So I love that you're saying it's a cocktail of triggers, because I think that is something that I haven't heard it be described as before. And I love that analogy that if you really think about it, like you drink cocktails sometimes to get drunk and get buzzed, but like, what are the things that you are doing in your business that are causing you to feel tipsy and get drunk? Let's stop doing those things and delegate to people who love doing those things. There are
Yes.
people that like
Yes.
to do taxes.
I know. I know. Oh my gosh. Well, that's a Monica moment right there. But
Yeah, right.
yes.
I know. I know. So one of the things we were talking about was how you were able, so I have loved being able to, I figured out I'm a weirdo, okay? And I'm fully aware.
Same.
I'm embracing my weirdo.
Same here.
I was telling someone I'm letting my freak flag fly.
Yes.
That I'm obsessed with friends. I just am. It's
Mhm.
just who I am. I always have been, and I've just decided this year to really step into it and own it. And you were
Mhm.
telling me that you have figured out a way to bring to talk about stress and burnout with the show Friends, and I figured out how to talk about friends and business. So can
Mhm.
you give me like a fun example of some content that
Ooh.
you created that was like bringing the two things together?
Yes. So essentially, what I used to do was take clips of friends and overlay and write on top of that some of the things that usually lead people to experience stress, or what are the signs of stress for specific individuals, just to raise a bit more awareness. The thing that's coming on top of my mind is the What If episode where Phoebe is a stockbroker and she ends up
Super
having a heart
stressed out.
attack, right? She's super stressed out and she has a heart attack. And then I talk about, if you are experiencing stress, these are some of the signs, like the palpitations,
Yeah.
the heavy breathing, and oh my gosh, I can't breathe. I don't know what's happening
Yeah.
around me, and all of those things. Those can be really good signs of experiencing stress and what happens if you allow stress to. Because here's the thing, a lot of people think that stress is a very sneaky little friend who just shows up, we are not aware. But stress has signs, we are just used to ignoring those signs. And
Yeah.
then those signs then come to a point where they become, you know I don't want to say unignorable, because I can't remember the word for it, but you can't help but take notice.
Yeah.
But if you have been experiencing those things like palpitations, like your heart is beating fast, you can't breathe, and that happens all the time, you won't even be aware when you are experiencing a major issue like heart attack, which also
Mm.
happens because
Mm-hmm.
of stress.
Mm-hmm.
You won't even realize that that is happening. And so I told people, hey, I don't want to create a grim picture, but here's what happens. I love to speak about how there were specific friends moments and how they lead to oxytocin boosting, like boosting of oxytocin in your body naturally, which is a natural stress reducer. Some of the things that I thought of was Chandler and Joey hugging.
Mm-hmm.
And I got all of those clips together because hugging is a great way to boost
Yes.
oxytocin in your body.
Yep.
Being kind, when Ross got Phoebe a bicycle for
I
her,
love
that was
that. I love that so much. I just saw
yes.
that episode last night.
Ah, nice. Let's go.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were multiple things that you can think of when it comes to what can you do to help yourself and help the people around you, and
Yeah.
how can you decrease your stress naturally
Mm-hmm.
when it arises. Sometimes it's as simple as, one of the things that I spoke of was how oftentimes we keep rewatching the show Friends, not just because it's our comfort, but because we already know what's going to happen.
Yes.
We're already aware, so it's not stressful. It's almost like, oh yeah, now I know the plot point. I
Yep.
know how everything is going to go. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not freaked out. I can just relax
Mm-hmm.
and chill out without it being like, oh my God, what's happening? Is Rachel
Yep.
gonna get off the plane?
Right.
What's gonna
Right.
happen? Like, you're not stressed out about it because you know Rachel
Mm-hmm.
is gonna get off the plane.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Yep.
So I like to talk about stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
how can you manage your stress naturally?
Mm-hmm.
What are the signs you
Mm-hmm.
need to look out for, and what are some fun ways? Like we were talking about literally before the episode started. I could, but I don't want to. The hill
Yes.
climb
I wish
practice.
I could,
Yeah.
but I don't want to.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a great way to set boundaries. And
Yes.
so, yeah, I can go
Yeah.
on and on, Elaine. I'm so
I
sorry. Oh
know,
my
I
gosh.
know. I love that so much. I think, one of the things that I have really um embodied within myself when a friend of mine once told me that we forget to breathe, right? So
Mm,
like when I feel stressed or overwhelmed, it's an invitation to get back into alignment. And
mm,
so I use that and I just take a pause, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, whatever it is. And I just give myself the opportunity to just like reset. And then I
mm,
realize I always ask myself, this is my new favorite question. Is anybody gonna die if I don't get that done?
Yes.
No, they're not gonna die. This is not life or death,
Uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh.
right?
Yes, I love that. Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
So
Mhm.
tell people what they can expect to hear from you at the summit.
Well, I am super excited to talk about how coaches can manage the stress and prevent burnout. I'm going to tap into some of the common things that lead coaches to experience stress. And the reason why I'm doing that is because coaches are wonderful, amazing people, completely speaking from a non biased perspective here. But we are in a space where we are constantly giving to others, we are serving here others, and we're here for that. We love serving others. But oftentimes that can lead to us not noticing and caring for ourselves. We
Mhm.
kind of put ourselves on the back seat and allow things to run us over essentially. And
Yeah.
so I wanted to talk about what are some of the things that coaches can look out for so that they are not letting their coach self be their entire self, but
Mhm.
rather they know when to step back and when to allow the other aspects of their selves breathe
Mhm.
and be present and take over essentially, and allow them to rest, allow them
Yeah.
to care for themselves. Because I know I was one of the coaches who was like, you know what, I'm gonna coach 20 people in a day, that's what I'm gonna do. And then I was like, oh boy, I coach more than 5 people in a week, I'm like done, because it takes so much from you.
Yes.
People don't realize
Yeah.
that. People are like, you're just sitting and talking and you're just listening. They're like, no, 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 boy,
No,
my
it
brain
is
is running.
work.
Yeah, my brain
Yeah.
is running every single time I'm in a coaching session, and it's hard
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, I am super excited to have you as part of our summit. I really am. We have so many international speakers. It just makes my heart so happy that we can all come together.
Mhm.
And I love connecting people together. I love meeting new people. I am so happy to have met you for the first time. So everybody make sure you tune in to the Elevate Your Coaching Business Summit happening on January 17th. You can stream it live on YouTube for free, or you can participate in the summit for only $47. So you can learn more at elevateyourcoachingsummit.com. All right, everybody, we'll see you guys later. See you at the summit.
See you. See you at the summit. Bye bye.